chatting with Kafra Kambon, Director of Regional and Pan-African Affairs of the ESCTT, to discuss the launch of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series. Good morning, Kafra.
Good morning, my brother.
Thanks for
Oh,
joining us
actually,
this morning, brother.
brothers, it's more than one, yes.
Thank you for joining us this morning. So tell us more about the Pan-African Festival commemorated by the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, this year we have had two virtual events so far. We had our launch, it was virtual, and we also had our drum festival, which was virtual as well. So it's a new world for us,
That's right.
doing these things virtually on this scale, and now I have to do this interview virtually. So I'm a bit of a novice in these things.
But you're doing well. You're
Even though
doing well.
now we're forced to have some meetings of our executives also as virtual meetings. I'm getting a little accustomed to it now.
Right. And with the shift into the virtual, I guess it forces the committee to become a little even more creative than it already is in regards to relaying information and educating as you have continually done over the years. So, what is the theme for 2020?
Well, the theme is Black Power remembered. 50 years Black Power remembered, so that we think that the Black Power revolution, uprising, however it is termed, of 1970, was one of the most significant turning points in our post-colonial history. And that took place 50 years ago. And that is what influenced our theme this year. So we are both looking at the impact that had. We are looking at what are the things that we still have to deal with that are consistent with the ideology, the goals of that movement, and all of that. And so we've had two events so far, our
Right.
virtual launch, and now we are going to have then the drum festival, which I spoke about already, and now we are going to have coming up now our launch of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series.
Before we jump into the launch of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series, let's just underline the main points of what the Black Power Revolution meant back in 1970, because there would be some viewers who are not too keen on the information. So just brief points. What was the movement fighting for?
Well, one, we're fighting to remove the continuing vestiges of colonialism in our society. This was 8 years after formal independence. Our economy was totally dominated by foreigners. All the interests, the sugar, the oil, all the major sectors of the economy were in the hands of foreigners, and that is a main issue in 1970. So we were pushing the powers that be in the direction of nationalization, and that happened with quite a great deal of success. We were also looking at a society that was very racist. In fact, that is why the terminology of Black Power stuck in Trinidad and Tobago. If you looked at the business sector of the country at that time, and you looked at the business elite, a study was done in 1968 by Acton Camejo. He was a sociologist at the University of the West Indies. And that pointed out that the top 1% of the top echelons of the business elite dominated by we'd say 1% now.
Right.
It was actually about a 4% of the population that totally dominated that. And you find that Africans and Indians, when you look at the business elite, were 4% African, 9% Indian.
Right.
Right? So that you had that imbalance in the society. Racism was very open and explicit. There were places that you could not go if your skin was too dark. In fact, if you were seen as black at all, and that meant whether you were African or Indian,
Right.
there are places, social areas you could not go to. You also had a situation of jobs. With dark skin, you could not get a job. I mean, in a bank, in a number of the insurance companies, and some of these white just would not hire us in those capacities.
You know, and those
So
things
you
have
had these
ramifications that last
disadvantages
until
in
today.
society. Today it is nothing like what it was then. You would still have some discrimination today,
Correct.
but then it was so ridiculous. It was so open. We have done some backsliding. Yes, there has been some backsliding, but it's nowhere near what it was. Take my word for it. You
Definitely.
know, I don't know if there I don't know what's happening with the social life today. I suppose in their private spaces people would discriminate, but you had the discrimination in public spaces, which made a tremendous difference to the
Definitely.
society.
Yeah.
Also, and there's a lot of reversion here. The education system, the media, all those major institutions in the society that affected how we think about ourselves were very much anti-black. It made you feel that if you're African, the education system, and this hasn't changed much, would not make you feel any sense of pride in yourself. In fact, it would more make you feel grateful
Mm.
that your ancestors were brought here, even though they were brought under those inhumane conditions of enslavement, because that's how the education system was, and it
Right.
hasn't changed enough. If the education system was proper, you would have no controversy over the removal of a Columbus statue today.
Right.
Mhm.
But some people say, well, oh, that's such an important guy. History came here, he civilized the native peoples, he brought us here, and we had the benefits of civilization. Okay, bad treatment for just a small 400 years of bad treatment, but
A
look how
small
civilized
400.
we are today because we have no knowledge
Right.
of who we are, and
Um,
that's a challenge.
Kafra, we don't have much time, but before we go, just tell me quickly when let's discuss the launch of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series. When is the
Yes,
launch taking place?
it's going to take place on Saturday. Let me make sure of the time. I have something to do with the time. Where is it? Lost my. Uh, but it's going to be on Saturday, and it's going to be. This is going to be a genuinely live event. I'll get
Right.
the time before we go, because
Of
I
course.
probably have it up on another screen here somewhere.
And
At,
if
at
we
five, it's
wanted,
5 p.m. and the platforms are going to be of the UE TV platform.
right?
It's going to be, so it's going to be on wherever their platforms are. It's also going to be on our Facebook. So people can go to the Facebook page of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago and view it live at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
And
Wonderful.
when you go on the Facebook page, if you look at it, if you're looking at it on TV is one thing, but if you look at it on the Facebook page, then you can make comments as it goes along and different kinds of interventions.
All
And
right.
it's a very powerful lineup that we have for Saturday. You have Professor James Small, and he was part of the Malcolm X movement. He was part of and he was part of the Black Panthers as well. And then he became a professor
Wow.
at Hunter at what he was. He was at Hunter College. It was the City College of New York, I think it was.
And
You have
that's
BC Kuboni.
and Kafra. Kafra, we do have to go, but again, tomorrow at Saturday at 5 p.m., they can log on to the Facebook page of the ESCTT and find out more. And it's also on television as well. So you could check via those platforms to log in or to view the lecture series. And that's the launch of it. That will be this Saturday, 5 p.m. again. So thank you, Kafra Kambon, Director of Regional and Pan-African Affairs of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, to discuss the launch of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series. Again, 5 o'clock at 5 o'clock on Saturday. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break and come right back. Stay with us.